In 30 years of walking into other people's kitchens, I have carried a lot of machines out to the curb that had nothing much wrong with them. That sounds like a contradiction, and it is not. What was wrong with them was not a worn part. It was a decision somebody made in a showroom 4 or 5 years earlier about which machine to buy. And by the time I showed up, that decision had already sealed the outcome. So today, I am going to walk you through the appliances I would never put in my own house. And I want to be clear from the start that this is almost never about a brand name. My name is Richard Nakamura, and I fixed appliances in other people's homes for 3 decades. Let me be honest about what this is. I did not run a test, and I have no laboratory. What I have is what I saw on my knees with the back off, plus published numbers you can go check yourself, all of which are linked below. This is one repairman's list of what he would not buy. There is a thread running through nearly every item on it, so let me give it to you now, because if you take nothing else from this video, you can shop with just this one rule. Never buy a machine where one part failing kills 2 functions. That is it. That is the whole thing. Once you can see that pattern, you will start spotting it on the showroom floor, and you will notice something uncomfortable, which is that the industry keeps selling it to you as a feature and charging extra for it. Let me start with the worst offender in the whole store, and it is not close. Number 1. The built-in wall oven with the microwave combined into it. The tall one, oven on the bottom, microwave on top, all one unit, all one beautiful front sitting flush in your cabinetry. It looks wonderful. I would not have one in my house at any price. Here is what happens. A microwave lives roughly 10 years, and often less, because the magnetron inside it wears out and the control panel goes. That is normal, and normally it does not matter, because a microwave is a cheap thing you replace. But in a combination unit, that microwave is not a separate appliance sitting near an oven. On a great many of these, the two halves share electronics and share a control board. So the microwave failing is not a microwave problem. It is a unit problem. Then you find out the second half, which is worse. Even if you could buy a replacement microwave module, the openings are not standard between manufacturers. Your cabinet hole was cut for that specific unit. So you are not shopping for a part, you are shopping for something that fits a hole in your kitchen. Now the money. If you can replace just the module, you are looking at $300 to $500 for the microwave and another $200 to $300 for the trim kit to make it sit right. If you cannot, and often you cannot, you are replacing the whole combination unit, and those start over $2,000 and run past $6,000. Now hold that number next to this one. A countertop microwave costs under $100, under $100. The alternative to all of that is simple. Buy a plain single wall oven and put a $100 microwave on your counter, and when it dies in 8 years, throw it out and buy another $100 one. Do that 4 times, and you have spent $400 over 30 years. I want to tell you about the house that taught me to say this out loud. 4-year-old kitchen. A combination unit that had cost around $5,000, and the microwave half had quit. I got in there and the control board was shared, so I could not simply swap the microwave. Then we went looking for a replacement unit that would fit the opening, and nothing did, not without a carpenter and a cabinet man. She could not face spending $5,000 again on a kitchen that was practically new. So the last time I saw that kitchen, there was a $120 microwave sitting on the counter, humming away, directly underneath a beautiful built-in microwave that did not work and never would again. Nobody at that store had told her any of this. They had told her it looked seamless. While we are on microwaves, number 2, the microwave that sits over your range and doubles as your vent hood. Same disease. One box doing 2 jobs, and it does the second one poorly. Most of these do not actually vent outside at all. They recirculate, which means they pull the steam and grease through a filter and blow it right back into your kitchen. Even the ones that do vent are limited by their size. An over-the-range microwave typically maxes out somewhere around 200 to 400 CFM of airflow. People who do ventilation for a living will tell you that you want at least 600, and a real range hood can reach 1200. Worse, the intake openings on those microwaves are set back from the front edge, so the steam coming off your front burners, which is where most people actually cook, largely misses them and goes up onto your ceiling. If you have the space in the wall, a plain microwave somewhere else and a proper hood over the range will serve you better at both jobs, and each of them can die without taking the other one with it. Number 3, any refrigerator with ice and water in the door. I have said before that the single most common appliance failure in this country is the ice maker, and Consumer Reports has put that at around 31% of refrigerator problems. Now, think about what that dispenser actually is. It is an ice maker that has to stay below freezing, mounted inside the door of a compartment that you are trying to keep at 37 degrees, and that gets opened 20 times a day. You have asked 2 systems that want opposite things to live inside the same box, with a water line running through a hinge that bends every time somebody wants a glass of milk. If you want ice, put it in the freezer where the cold already is, or buy a countertop ice maker and be done with it. Now look a little higher on that same door, number 4, the screen. The cooling system in a smart refrigerator lasts what any refrigerator lasts, 10 to 15 years. The touchscreen and the wireless module typically last 3 to 7. You paid a premium for a part that dies less than halfway through the life of the machine it is bolted to, and when it goes, you cannot sensibly replace it. Then you own a regular refrigerator with a dead black rectangle on the front. Number 5, and this one is about where you put it rather than what you buy. Do not take an ordinary refrigerator and stand it in an unheated garage. Most of them are designed to run in a room between about 50 and 110 degrees. In January, that garage drops below freezing. The thermostat feels cold air, concludes everything is fine, and never calls for the compressor. Your refrigerator section is delighted. Your freezer quietly thaws out. If you need a machine in a garage, buy one sold as garage ready, which is rated far colder and carries a small heater near the thermostat for exactly this reason. Number 6, a range with a black glass touch panel instead of knobs. Behind that glass is a control board, and that board is what decides how long you own the stove. When it fails, and it is one of the commonest failures there is, the machine does not half work. It stops. The part runs $100 to $300 typically, and I have seen them over $700 plus $200 to $600 in labor. On a machine more than a few years old, that board is often discontinued, at which point a stove with perfect burners and a perfect oven is finished. A range with mechanical knobs does not have that failure. When something goes wrong on one of those, you replace a switch that costs $30. Number 7, double ovens stacked in one range, and while I am here, do not pay extra for air fry. 2 ovens in one cabinet means 2 of everything, and both of them wired to that same board. An air fry setting is nothing but your convection fan running hot with a basket. If the oven has convection, you already own it. Number 8. A dishwasher with a plastic tub. A stainless tub rinses itself clean and lasts. A plastic one warps a little over the years and holds smell, and you cannot fix either of those things. It is the cheapest way to tell a good dishwasher from a lesser one wearing the same family name, and it takes 2 seconds to check. Number 9, and this is the newest thing on my list. The all-in-one washer and dryer, one machine that does both. I understand the appeal completely, especially in an apartment or a small house. But the reporting on these is rough. The New York Times cited figures showing more than 70% of buyers needed a repair in the first year. The drying is generally rated worse than a real dryer, and to dry properly, you can only fill the drum about 60 to 70%. So the big capacity on the box is not capacity you can use. Here's the part that decides it for me, though, and it is pure repairman. Many of these now use a heat pump to dry, and a heat pump has a compressor in it, the same as a refrigerator. So when it fails, it does not need a laundry technician. It needs a refrigeration technician. Plenty of local shops have not been trained on this technology yet. You have bought a machine that fails often and that fewer people near you can fix, which is exactly the combination I have spent this whole video telling you to avoid. Now let me be fair, because a list like this gets suspicious if everything is bad. Dryers. There is nothing on my avoid list for dryers. A dryer is still the simplest major appliance you can buy. A drum, a motor, a heater, and a thermostat, and almost all of them are decent. Buy the one that matches your washer and get on with your life. I am not going to invent a villain to keep the list tidy. I also want to give you one case where the honest answer is complicated, because you should know how to read this kind of thing. Speed Queen, which I have recommended before, changed their top loader. The old classic used a transmission that drove the agitator independently, a hard, aggressive scrub. The newer series moves the tub and the agitator together, which is gentler. Owners hated it. They complained so loudly that the company brought the classic back into production, which almost never happens. And yet, Consumer Reports rated the newer one higher for cleaning than the classic, 4 stars against 3. Who is lying? Nobody. They are measuring different things. A lab scores stain strips under fixed conditions. An owner scores whether the collar of a work shirt came out clean. If you wash ordinary household laundry, the newer machine will likely please you. If you are washing genuinely dirty clothes, listen to the owners. That difference between what a test measures and what your life measures explains most of the arguments about appliances you will ever read. One more thing so you understand why all of this matters more now than it did when I started. Repair is getting expensive fast. Tariffs on parts coming from China and Mexico have pushed repair costs up somewhere between 5 and 20%. Labor runs $100 to $175 an hour on average across the country now. Every extra failure point you bought without meaning to costs more to deal with than it would have 5 years ago. And the old rule still holds. If the repair costs more than about half of a new machine, you replace it. Which means these days it takes less to write a machine off. There is my list. Combination wall ovens, the microwave that pretends to be a vent hood, ice and water in the door, screens, an ordinary fridge in a cold garage, a glass touch panel where knobs belong, double ovens, an air fry, plastic tubs, and the all-in-one washer-dryer. Look at that list again and notice that only one of those is a feature you would actually miss. The rest are things a salesman talked somebody into. And nearly every one of them is the same mistake wearing a different jacket, which is one part failing and taking two things down with it. Now the honest word I owe you. Never buy is my judgment as a man who had to fix these. Not a verdict on anybody's kitchen. Somebody watching this has a combination wall oven that has run fine for 12 years, and I am glad. What I am telling you is where the risk sits and what it costs when it lands, so that if you buy one anyway, you are doing it with your eyes open, which is more than the showroom will give you. Tell me down in the comments which of these you already have, and if you own a combination wall oven, I especially want to hear how it has gone, because I would genuinely like to be wrong about that one. And tell me what you would add to the list. I read every single one. My grandmother used to tell me about matinai. It means nothing good should ever be wasted. Not the thing in your hands, and not the knowing of how to keep it.